Welcome, welcome! It's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today we're going to talk about director mode and how to operate the camera. Now, I attempted to do this while playing the game, and I had some issues. For some reason, my microphone was not recording. So we're going to do this as a voiceover. So normally when you move your mouse around, you're in first-person mode. That's the default for Star Citizen. Which is great because it's much more immersive being in first-person mode. But every once in a while, you need to go into third-person to view a few things or to take some nice pictures or whatever reason. Some people like playing in third-person, but it's extremely hard to do in Star Citizen. So, in order to get to third-person, you have to press the F4 button. So when you press F4, you should default to this version of the screen here. Now, you can move your mouse around, but it'll only be oriented on the character itself. You have to hold down Z and move it around in order for it to rotate around its current position. Yeah, but we'll get into that a little bit more here in a minute. I do want to show you that if you press F4 a second time, it'll zoom out and give you a little bit further zoomed out view. So there's technically like two cameras that are in first person mode. It's a little bit different than when you're in a ship or a vehicle when there's only one camera. So there's, yeah, like I said, there's a couple different cameras here. So F4 once gets you the over the shoulder look. F4 a second time will zoom it out. Okay. So now let's kind of get into how you move the camera around. Again, if you are just moving your mouse around in the F4 mode, it's just going to follow your character's direct orientation or wherever the camera's pointed, more or less. It's not going to free move. A lot of people want to be able to freely move their camera around. Well, that's when you press and hold Z and then move the mouse around while you're holding Z. You can get all sorts of different angles. You can go up, you can go, let's not go down. You can move the mouse all around and get all sorts of different angles on your character, but it's centered on your character as default. You can also use some other keys to move it around as well, but you can see here after I let go of Z, it's still oriented on my character now. I'm just looking at the front of me instead of the back of me. If you want to go back to the default camera angle, the best way to do this is to press F4 and asterisk. Asterisk over on the numpad, I should say. Most of your keys are going to be related to the numpad, the arrow keys, page up, page down, those keys there. So you're definitely going to want to get used to how you can do this. So if you hold F4 and press arrow up on the arrow keys at the same time, you will zoom in. So you have to hold F4 and hold in on the arrow key up. You could also tap it and it'll move it in a little slower. If you hold F4 and arrow key back, it will zoom you out. Now there's other ways to zoom in and out as well. And it's especially useful if you get to the furthest zoom level out that you can go. You can also press F and hold F4 and use the mouse wheel button. Not the button, the mouse wheel. So you can roll the mouse wheel in and out and it'll zoom in and out for you while holding F4. So there are a couple different ways you could zoom in and out. I usually use the arrow keys. It's just simpler that way, unless you just have to have your hand on the mouse at all times or part of the times. I wouldn't use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out very much unless you're at the end of the full zoom with the arrow keys, which I'm not going to demonstrate in this video. So there's some other keys you need to know that can help you with movement. If you hold F4 and go left arrow key, it moves the camera to the left. If you hold F4 and right arrow key, it moves the camera to the right. So it's no longer centered on your character anymore. So again, left and right arrow keys will move the camera left and right if you're holding F4. If you hold F4 and do page up, you move the camera angle up. If you hold page down with F4, it'll move the camera angle down. And again, Z can move the camera around if you're moving the mouse. So you can combine a lot of these and get all sorts of different camera angles. As you can see, I can zoom in, I can move right, left, up, down, the whole plethora of keys. There are also ways that you can zoom in or zoom out as far as the focal point. So here I'm using F4 and the plus key on the number pad. It will zoom out. And then if I use the minus key instead, it'll zoom in. And you can see that snarling vandal face that everybody's going to want to shoot. So again, holding F4 and pressing any of these keys will give you some sort of direction or movement or focal change. Very useful if you're into photography or doing some cinematics and stuff in the game. That's how you'll see a lot of people do some really phenomenal cinematics and get some really phenomenal pictures. So if you press and hold F4 and then tap the number pad asterisk, you will of course go back to the default angle, and then of course Z will bring you back around to the front. If you want to save a certain camera angle, you can hold F4 and a number pad number. So like if I want to save this as number 1, I can hold F4 and number pad 1 down for about 5 seconds, and it'll save it as the number 1 position. In order to go back to that, you'll just hold F4 and tap the number pad 1, and it'll take you back to this saved screen or saved area. You can also do this for all the number pad numbers. So if I were to zoom out a little bit here, I think I'm going to save this as number 2. So I can hold down F4 and number pad number 2 for 5 seconds, and it'll save this camera position here. Why would I want to do this? Well, you just may want some different shots that you can go to really quick for cinematics and other things. So I'm going to focal in and zoom in a little bit and raise the camera up a little bit, and I think I'll save this as number 3. So F4 and number pad 3 for about 5 seconds. And that should save this screenshot here, this camera view here. So let's do one more. We'll get a different angle here. How about we do a top-down view or something like that? That could be good. So I'll go back to default just so I can move this around, and then hold Z down, and there we go. We'll move the camera up, and we'll move it out a little ways, and I will pan it down a little bit. There we go. So now we have a nice camera angle. I'm going to do F4 and the number 4 for 5 seconds, and this will save this shot. Again, if you want to go back and see those original shots, that's easy enough to do when you press F4, hold F4, and then tap one of those number keys that you have the shot saved to. This works in vehicles and ships as well, so keep that in mind if you want to do, all these different kinds of angles on those. And it should save your configuration in your game file. So in other words, if I were to log out and then log back in, and then I press F4, hold F4 and press shot number 4, I would get this camera angle. It should save that for me. Obviously, if you're on the PTU and they do different wipes and stuff, that's going to wipe out some of your controls and, some of these key presses and stuff. But let's take a look how it looks whenever you are in a ship. Like I said, it works identically when you're in a ship. So I'm not going to keep you too late when doing this. But I wanted to definitely go over this for you so you can kind of get a better idea of how the camera angles can work on the ground and in a ship. As you can see, I'm in a Sabre Raven here, nighttime at Lorville. I pressed F4 to get this view, and then I hold down Z and move the mouse around, and it will be centered on my ship, and I can get all sorts of different camera angles from there. So again, you're flying along, you want to get the third person view to get a little more cinematic look, or just to get a better look at the planet, because you can get a better look at features and stuff sometimes in third person mode. Press F4, and this is what you're going to get. Now if you press F4 again, it's just going to take you back to the cockpit. So remember, on the ground you get two different kinds of camera, but when you're in a ship or a vehicle, it's only the one. So you can hold Z down and move the mouse around. Now, if you just tried to move the mouse around while you're in third person, it's going to try to move your ship. The only exception to that rule is if you are in quantum, it'll let you freely rotate around the center point, which is the ship itself. So again, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can move the camera up or down by pressing and holding F4 using the arrow keys, using page up, page down. You can change the focal again as well by F4 and plus or F4 and minus. And then you can also save all the different camera angles by holding F4 and a number pad button for about 5 seconds. So that's how you would use director mode and your cameras in Star Citizen. I hope this really helps a bunch of you guys out. I know some people did not even know they could do this, so I'm glad that I'm able to do a video like this to help as many people out as possible. And some people may not know you could save the camera angles, so that could be very, very useful for many of you, especially since Star Citizen has a CitizenCon video contest. You can put up like a 45-second video and it might be able to air during CitizenCon in October. Could be really cool to have one of your videos featured there. So you'll definitely want to use some of these tricks to director mode and get the best shots possible. Now there's other people out there who will teach you how to use photography in the game. You can do that by holding your Windows key down and print screen, and that will take a screenshot while you're in game. Or just print screen a lot of times will work as well. But you want to make sure you've got the best picture you possibly can. So you can go back and look at that and do whatever you need to edit it out or whatever you want to do. I do want to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning into my videos. I really do appreciate it. I can't thank you enough, especially my YouTube members and my Patreon. You guys have really saved my butt several times over the last year and a half, and there's no words that can really say thank you enough. If you guys want to be a member of one of those prestigious groups, you can do that down below. In the description of the video, I'll have that listed, how to join the YouTube members. You can do that for as little as $1, and let me tell you, $1 really does help. Really, it's helped me and my wife out immeasurably at times when we've had some crazy incidental bills come up, and this year has been full of them. I know a lot of you are probably dealing with some of the similar stuff, but it's been a crazy year already for me. If you want to join the Patreon, you can do that. That'll be listed down below as well. If you're looking for an org to join, my org is Texas. We do events every Saturday night as a whole. As many people who want to join can. And, we also do stuff throughout the week. There's always somebody that is doing something throughout the week. Here, I'm showing you in this video how to get one of those pan shots or those flybys. You can do it all sorts of different ways, but that's generally how I do some of them. It's better. It helps better if you zoom way in on the ship. Also, if you're new to the game, and it looks like a game you may be interested in joining, I know a lot of people have come over from Elite Dangerously recently, please use my referral code. I'm going to list that in the description of the video, but I'll also put it here in the video for you guys. If you use that referral code, you get 5,000 bonus credits that you can use when you start up the game, and you could do it on the test universe, which is what we're all playing, where it's in alpha. And when the game goes live, you'll have that 5,000 credits to use right off the bat. It gives you a little bit of a boost, helps you get what you need right off the bat. So definitely check that referral code out, please. It helps me out as well, and I can jump up the referral ladder a little bit. Once again, I'm Muddog with the Texas Space Navy. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the camera director mode. Is this something you use often? Is it something you didn't know about? Let me know in the comments. And if there's another type of tutorial that you're looking forward to, let me know what you would like me to do a tutorial on, and maybe I'll get the chance to do that for you guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Muddog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.